one of the greatest games of all time, just ever, is the first Half-Life game, and the second one as well. And most people know these games as a, like, primarily PC game, and a lot of people have ever only played it as a PC game. But my first ever experience with this game was playing it on the PS2. Originally I got it in a demo, and then I just went out and got it. And for quite a long time I didn't actually know it was a PC game. I just thought it was a PlayStation 2 game, because that's how things worked back in the day. Like, you just didn't know, like, unless someone directly told you, one of your friends told you, you didn't know that it existed elsewhere. I think the first time I actually saw a PC version of Half-Life was when I went to my cousin's house and he had Counter-Strike in, like, the old fashioned, like, big PC boxes, and along with that it had Half-Life 1. So for anyone that doesn't know anything about Half-Life, because it is at the time of recording 2024, and I imagine probably a lot of gamers may not have played this game. Half-Life came out in 1998. It's a first-person shooter developed by Valve, and it was originally released for the Windows. It was actually Valve's first ever project, way before Steam, anything like that. It was its first ever thing, because before Steam, Valve was a development studio. In this game, you assume the role of Gordon Freeman, a scientist who must escape the Black Mercer facility, which is like a research facility where basically they're all doing like crazy science. It goes wrong and you've got to get out. It was pretty revolutionary at the time. It had an amazing physics engine for the time, and it was just something. The gameplay is a nice mix of really fluid shooting for the time, and then like physics-based puzzles and things like that. So it's just really good. If you haven't played Half-Life, I really recommend it. You could probably miss the first one. Half-Life 2 is an absolute must-play for anyone. But what I want to talk about today is particularly the PlayStation 2 port of this game. Released in 2001 on the PlayStation 2, it was also released in the multiplayer expansion Decay, which I think might have been one of the very first, like, online multiplayers I've ever played. And for some reason people were really critical of this port back in the day. Like, it didn't score, it scored high but didn't score as well as you would think for like Half-Life. Like, a lot of the Half-Life reviews were like 10 out of 10s, 5 out of 10s, 100%, like all the best reviews. But then when it got down to like the PS2, people were giving it like 3 out of 5, or just like really hating it for stupid reasons. I honestly feel like maybe at the time it was just popular to hate on the PS2 because like it was such a prominent prominent PC game that they just, like, the PC Master Race just decided that it wasn't good enough for the PS2. Now, one thing I will say about the PS2 version, you'll probably see it because it's just like gameplay footage. I just captured this to talk over the top of it. But what you will see is a lot of like loading screens, which is like, it's just what they had to do to get around like actually porting the game over, because it's a massive game for the time. We're talking like, bearing in mind 1998, early 2000s, this sort of graphic, this sort of physics engine, unseen, unheard of. Like, it doesn't look like a lot now, but honestly back then, this was like photorealism. And just going back to what I said, I had absolutely no idea that this was originally a PC game. I just thought this was a PS2 game, and like, this is the loading screens I was talking about. Sorry for the little like, it's quite long as well, which gets quite annoying. But like, you have to bear with it. Like, it's a PlayStation 2 game. But anyway, yeah, back to what I was talking about. So like, I just had no idea this was a PC game, and I got to experience Half-Life like this, like the footage you're seeing right now. It's a very fluid game. It runs quite well. I think it does. But again, I just don't get why people hate on this port so much, because it is a decent port. It's very fun, and the multiplayer was just so good as well. They're like, I can't even. So the Half-Life multiplayer Decay is an expansion pack. It's kind of like only exclusive for the PlayStation 2, but I feel like it did come to PC at some point as well. Unfortunately, you can't really get any footage of it anymore because like it's a PS2, the servers aren't on, so you can't really play it. I mean, I could probably hook up like a few friends and do like a landline thing, but yeah. But basically in Decay you return to like the original game, like the original sort of setting and the original story, portraying the story from a completely different protagonist as you play as like two other scientists that are trying to get out of Black Mesa. So it's like a cooperative multiplayer, and it really gives that like sort of kind of like Portal vibes, where like in Portal, I think it's Portal 2 has multiplayer, where you have to work together to get out. I may be misremembering this. I can't remember if it was online or split screen. Maybe that's just me. Correct me in the comments below if you remember. But honestly, incredible. It was so fun. But yeah, that's just my little rant about Half-Life and how I experienced Half-Life compared to like how everyone else experienced Half-Life. I feel like a lot of people did play it on the PlayStation and just didn't want to admit that they did, because everyone was obsessed with the PC and like, oh yeah, it's so much better. Oh. But yeah, that's just been me chatting about a game that I fucking love. Anyway, if you didn't like this video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, because there's going to be plenty more retro gaming content coming out over the next couple of weeks. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you played Half-Life on the PlayStation 2 or if you played it by PC. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment below. Thank you so much for watching. My name's been the Retro Gaming Goose, and I'll see you in the next video.